Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Shri Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavateruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10, Chapter 73, text number 21 to 35. 30 is on the board. We will read the translations of text 21 onwards, and then we'll recite text 30. Krishna is speaking to the kings who were arrested by Jarasandha, who are now liberated. Understanding that this material body and everything connected with it have a beginning and an end, worship me by Vedic sacrifices. and with clear intelligence protect your subjects in accordance with the principles of religion. Krishna is speaking. As you live your lives begetting generations of progeny and encountering happiness and distress, birth and death, always keep your minds fixed on me. Be detached from the body and everything connected to it. Remaining self satisfied, steadfastly keep your vows while concentrating your minds fully on me. In this way, you will ultimately attain me, the Supreme Absolute Truth. Shukdev Goswami said, having thus instructed the kings, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Master of all the worlds, engaged male and female servants in bathing and grooming them. O descendants of Bharata, the Lord then had King Sahadev honor them with offerings of clothing, jewelry, garlands, and sandalwood paste, all suitable for royalty. After they had been properly bathed and adorned, Lord Krishna saw to it that they dined on the excellent food. He also presented them with various items befitting the pleasure of kings, such as betel nut. Honored by Lord Mukunda and freed from tribulations, the king shone splendidly, their earrings gleaming, just as the moon and other celestial bodies shine brilliantly in the sky at the end of rainy season. Then the Lord arranged for the kings to be seated on chariots drawn by fine horses and adorned with jewels and gold, and pleasing them with gracious words, he sent them off to their own kingdoms. Thus, liberated from all difficulty by Krishna, the greatest of personalities, the kings, departed, and as they went, they, they thought of him, the Lord of the universe, and his wonderful deeds. Text 30, which is on the board. Jagadu prak Jagadu prakrtibhyaste Mahapurusha cheshtitam Yathanvashashad Bhagavan Tatha Chakrur Atandrita Jagadu Prakriti Prakritivisyaste Mahapurusha cheshtitam Yathanvashashat Bhagavams Tatha Chakrur Atandrita Jagadu Prakriti Mahapurusha Cheshtitam Yathanvashashat Bhagavams Tatha Chakrur Atandrita. Word to word meaning. Jagadu told Prakritibhya to their ministers and other associates. They, the kings, Mahapurusha of the Supreme Person, Cheshtitam, the activities, Yatha, as. Anvashasat, he instructed. Bhagavan, the Lord. Tatha, so. Chakru, they did. Atandrita, without becoming lax. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The kings told their ministers and other associates what the personality of Godhead had done, and then they diligently carried out the orders He had imparted to them. It's no purport in any of the verses. We'll discuss all the verses in the course. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyata Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Neelachal Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balbhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatam Ham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Parmananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. I humbly seek blessings of all the assembled devotees here so that we may be able to speak on this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam for purification of our hearts, for the glorification of the Lord and His devotees, as a service to all devotees, and for benefit of all. Especially seek blessings of Prem Swarup Prabhu, Shaitai Prabhu, and all the assembled devotees here. Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna book, chapter number 90, last chapter of Krishna book, almost in very last, just reading a portion from Krishna book. Prabhupada is saying, if someone remains always attached to Krishna, it is to be understood that he is liberated and his life is successful. With any devotee who loves Krishna with his heart and soul, Krishna reciprocates in such a way that the devotee cannot but remain attached to him. The reciprocal dealings of Krishna and his devotees are so attractive that a devotee cannot think of any subject matter other than Krishna. Especially this line, Prabhupada says, the reciprocal dealings of Krishna and his devotees are so attractive that a devotee cannot think of any subject matter other than Krishna. So here in this section, we are seeing a very intense reciprocal dealings of Krishna and these wonderful kings. And we'll try to understand that what is this affection which is exchanged, you know, how the Lord showers his affection on the devotees, as we'll see, we are seeing in these verses, and how the devotees' surrender increases by every single act of reciprocation which a devotee acknowledges. When the Lord reciprocates and the devotee sees Lord's reciprocation, the devotee surrender increases, and devotee surrender as it increases and he wants to please Lord more, the Lord becomes more pleased, and his reciprocation increases, and in that way this whole thing creates such a rasa, such an ecstasy. And that Prabhupada is saying here that a devotee cannot think of any subject matter other than Krishna. So this is the secret of becoming Krishna conscious, right? To be absorbed as, and Bhagavatam is actually all about this. Whole Bhagavatam from beginning to end is all about Krishna's intense reciprocation with the devotees. Sometimes Bhagavatam is filled with pastimes of devotees. I find so many devotees' pastimes. But what is that devotees' pastimes? The pastimes of devotees are filled with how Krishna is reciprocating with them, right? And Lord's pastime is how you know how Krishna is reciprocating with his devotees, and how devotees are reciprocating with Krishna's love uh, as a reciprocal. Like the Lord gives mercy and the devotee also reciprocates. So that's all going on in Bhagavatam all throughout. And this dealings is most attractive, And we all jivas, we the living entities, as Vedanta Sutra says, raso vahi saha. We are always looking for such rasa or anand meva abhyasat, that we are always hankering for happiness, which we can receive only when we put all our affection for Krishna's pleasure. When we were in Jagannath Puri Dham, we were hearing from His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, and he was making a very interesting point that 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 how Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. What is the meaning of that? Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure. What is the meaning of that? So one meaning, one may think that, oh, Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure. So if I need any pleasure, I should go to Krishna and get get all pleasure for me. You know. Right. Oh, very nice. So I should not take pleasure from other places. I should take pleasure from Krishna. So that is one kind of meaning one may derive. But actually, Maharaj is explaining that Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure means that all the pleasure, all the happiness should go to Krishna. Right? Everything should be done for pleasure of Krishna. Right? Right? So Krishna is the reservoir. So where we should offer our love and affection. And when we do that, then in giving that pleasure, we become happy. And the concept Prabhupada and the Srimad Bhagavatam has made it very simple. Just like if there is a finger is there, a finger wants to be happy. All he need to do is give the food to the mouth and through that to the belly. That's all. So if finger does that part, then everything else will be, he will be happy because he is part of this body. Similarly, we are part and parcel of Krishna. Right? So we don't have to think about our happiness. Rather, a living entity, natural position is to always think of Krishna's happiness. It's very natural. Just like hand's natural function is to work for the as a service to the body. Right? That's natural. And if it's not functioning, that means it is diseased. That's all. So in that way, we actually are hankering for this happiness. Srila Prabhupada in Nectar of Devotion preface, he writes something which many of us must have read several times, but still I would like to read again. And read Prabhupada. Reading directly Prabhupada's words is really very beautiful, always. So reading from Srila Prabhupada's preface in Nectar of Devotion, extract from there. Prabhupada is saying, Bhakti means devotional service. Every service has some attractive features which drives the servitor progressively on and on. So there has to be some driving factor. Driving factor. What is driving you? What drives you? Right? Mm, there is advertisement of I think Excite battery, right? you know, what drives? So similarly, we have to ask this question, what drives you? There's something, and Prabhupada is saying for that every one of us within this world is perpetually engaged in some sort of service. And the impetus for such service is the pleasure we derive from it. So, what is that impetus? What is pulling us? That is an important question for us to ask. And then Prabhupada gives understanding of two types of drives. So, driven by affection for his wife and children, a family man works day and night. A philanthropist works in the same way for the love of greater family, and a nationalist for the cause of his country and countrymen. The force which derives the philanthropist, the householder, and the nationalist is called rasa, or a kind of mellow or relationship whose taste is very sweet. So ultimately, it's the relationship. A family man may work very, very hard, but at the end of the day, you know, if the wife is happy, children are happy, you know, that is like he feels that rasa. Okay, wife reciprocates. And we were hearing from Ashok Krishna Prabhu that how that person who came from the field, he was he felt so disturbed that I'm working so hard for my children and my and the daughter was saying, that he came from the field and as he came back he told, give me water. And his daughter said, Dichi, Dichi, रुक जाओ अभी, दे रहा हूँ. So in that way, and this father became so annoyed, I'm working hard for them, and she's saying, that she was busy watching TV. She's busy watching TV and saying ditchi ditchi, you know, and watching TV. And this father became so annoyed that he came from the field having the sickle in his hand. He just with that sickle he killed the daughter, and right on the spot, and then he went to and complained. So point is that the happiness is that the the family man will be happy. That's the rasa, and that the rasa is frustrated, then it becomes into another kashdi rasa. So one is working hard for some mellow, for some relationship. That's very clear. Right. So there is a mellow in this material world, which is called as mundane rasa, and then there is bhakti rasa. Prabhupada further says, Bhakti rasa is a mellow different from the ordinary rasa enjoyed by the mundane workers. Mundane workers labor very hard day and night in order to relish a certain kind of rasa, which is understood as sense gratification. So mundane rasa, in simple words, sense gratification. Whether it's philanthropist, nationalist, sense gratification, because either self sense or extended sense. The relish or taste of the mundane rasa does not long endure, and therefore mundane workers are always apt to change their position of enjoyment. So, first problem with mundane rasa is it's flickering. it will be finished. A businessman is not satisfied while working the whole week. Therefore, wanting a change for the weekend, he goes to a place where he tries to forget his business activity. Then, after the weekend is spent in forgetfulness, he again changes his position and resumes his actual business activities. Material engagement means accepting a particular status for some time and then changing it. The position of changing back and forth is technically called, known as bhogatyag, which means a position of alternating sense of enjoyment and renunciation. A living entity cannot steadily remain either in sense enjoyment or in renunciation. The change is going on perpetually, and we cannot be happy in either state because of our eternal constitutional position. So, in the similar way, we have to see in our lives that if there is this change, we, are, we don't feel satisfied, and we are feeling we want to give it up, bhog tyag, this tendency is there. That means one is relishing mundane rasa. Mundane rasa has these characteristics. Sense gratification does not endure for long, and it is therefore called chapala sukh or flickering happiness. So these are the two characteristics, chapala sukh and bhogatyag of mundane rasa. For example, an ordinary family man who works very hard day and night and is successful in giving comfort to the members of his family, thereby relishes a kind of mellow. But his whole advancement of material happiness immediately terminates along with his body as soon as his life is over. Death is therefore taken as the representative of God for the atheistic class of men. The devotee realizes the presence of God by devotional service, whereas the theist realizes the presence of God in the shape of death. At death, everything is finished, and one has to begin a new chapter of life in a new situation, perhaps higher or lower than the last one. In any field of activity, political, social, national, or international, the result of our actions will be finished with the end of life, that is sure. So this is bhautik rasa. So point is that we are hankering for rasa, and we need one of the rasa. And Prabhupada further says, Bhakti rasa, however, the mellow relish in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, does not finish with the end of life. It continues perpetually and therefore called Amrit, that which does not die but exists eternally. This is confirmed in all Vedic literatures. Right. So we need rasa. We need a mellow. We need a kind of exchange. We need a kind of relationship. Right? And and when we are uh, actually we are seeing Krishna's loving hand, Krishna's love in our lives constantly, and we are working for Krishna and developing and working, you know, in the direction of developing that relationship. Right? Then that rasa is relish. Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga Bhagwan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we need this rasa, kind of mellow or relationship. This relationship with Krishna, you know, is essential for all of us to progress. And day by day, we need to see that we need to focus on this very relationship. The central point of all activities of bhakti, the essence of all bhakti is developing this relationship with Krishna. Right? So we need to always focus on this, that how much day by day I am developing relationship with Krishna. How much I am coming closer to Krishna. How much do I feel Krishna's love coming in my life, and how much am I serving to try to please Krishna. Right? And understanding that all I need to do in my life is develop that relationship deeper and deeper. All my work is meant for developing that relationship with Krishna deeper and deeper. I serve devotees because devotees, service to devotees pleases Krishna much and much more and more. I chant Hare Krishna because chanting Hare Krishna pleases Krishna, and through this I want to develop my relationship with Krishna more. Because to develop relationship, we need to do what pleases the person. Right? And when we are doing things which pleases the person so that we may develop a deeper relationship, right? So that relationship with Krishna is the goal. And this goal, when we say goal, many times coming from the materialistic background, and also the whole world being so much contaminated with Mayavad philosophy, whenever we think of goal, we want to think that, okay, goal is like a point. Okay, this is where I need to go, and that's it. And now I have achieved, right? Whereas in bhakti, the goal is not a point. Goal is the beginning of life, right? Right. For example, love of God is the goal. But this love of God is not a point that one achieved. Okay, now I have achieved love of God. Khatam. But actually, this love of God is a whole process. Right? One is achieved. One keeps working to develop more and more and more deeper and deeper and deeper love, and it never ends. I was recently reading in Chatan Chatamrit this a section of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. And we see that Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, when he meets Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is, you know, uh, initially he has that whole pastime. Everyone knows that Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, in the beginning, he is thinking that, oh, he's a young sannyasi, I need to instruct him. And then he instructed for 7 days. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on 8th day, you know, after hearing submissively, nicely from him, they completely smashes all misconceptions of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya and establishes, the Krishna consciousness, the personal form of the Lord as a, and Srimad Bhagavatam as the pure philosophy, everything. And Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya got completely, astonished hearing from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the whole philosophy. And then Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya sees the form of the Lord, four-handed form, and then, playing flute form. And then it is explained that he gets, Shwet Kamb Ashru, he gets all the symptoms of ecstasy, and Sri Chaitanya Prabhu embraced him. He gets love of God, what is called love of God. So that's, in that sense, love of God, we find Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu associate, they receive, you know, very beginning only, right? But that's not the end. That's the beginning. And from there, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya pastimes begin. Right? And how whole after that whole life of dedication, right? So in the similar way, this relationship with Krishna, has to go on and on, deeper and deeper. A devotee keeps making deeper and deeper commitment, and and as this keeps going on in the entire life, death is like a, not something very very significant, because at that point of time, okay, either one goes back to Godhead and continues that relationship in a spiritual world, and deeper and deeper and deeper that reciprocation goes on, or in the next life, that relationship goes on and on. So there is no interruption in this goal. That's why this is different from the mundane rasa. Mundane rasa is interrupted by death, as Prabhupada is telling. Whereas this rasa is goes on, and this rasa is what we are hankering for, right? And hence we are seeing in this pastime. Now we come to the pastime where Krishna's special dealing, are stealing the hearts of devotees. All the pastimes of Krishna, and in reciprocation, devotees' surrender increases, and further Krishna reciprocates. So this is the essence of bhakti, and this is how the affection keeps increasing. So here we are seeing how Krishna released these wonderful devotees, the kings, and kings offered. Kings are seeing in their life clearly the hands of Krishna. We have heard from the speakers last few days continuously that how these kings are really so amazing. They never had any complaints or grudges against Jarasandh. Rather, they were always seeing Krishna's loving hand. Yesterday I was hearing a lecture where I was hearing that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very emphatically, raised his hand and told the two things just you need to do, to go back to Godhead. That's all. Right? Essentially, two things, and that is chant Hare Krishna and do not criticize devotees. Right? So that's all. So devotee, and how do not criticize, devotees, or do not criticize in any sense, in that sense, anyone. How this is seems hearing very easy. Okay, take it, these two things, very nice. But it's not so easy, because to not criticize devotees or to not criticize anyone in this world for anything, that's possible only when we are learn to see Krishna's loving hand. Because things will happen in a way that we may see that he did it wrong, or I am having problem because of him, because of that. So these, and we can see these kings, they are devotees. This is called devotee. A devotee never blames, never criticizes. He sees always Krishna's loving hand and finds out, his own mistake. Tattenu kampa susamikshmano bunjana evatma kritam. Evatma kritam. It's all done by me. I have done this wrong activity. He doesn't see someone else. And I am suffering my own sinful activities, and Krishna is mercifully has reduced it. This is how a devotee sees. And we are seeing these kings, and such people are Sadaya Bhak. Such people have rightful claim to go back home, back to Godhead. And so this is the quality we are seeing in these kings here also, that they are seeing Krishna's loving hand, that actually we were so proud and puffed up, and that's why you have made such nice arrangement for us. Jarasandh was just an instrument in your hand, and through him, you have made us humbled now. So thank you for your kind mercy. Now we have become really humbled, and now we have become your devotee because we are humble. So in that way, Krishna creates situations like that. When we see like that, Krishna becomes so pleased, and Krishna himself is blessing them. And here he is explaining. So just we see some of the verses. So here Krishna is explaining. Krishna is giving them instructions. Yesterday we saw that Krishna is telling them that uh, that he's accepting first of all every prayer, and he's telling that yes, what you have spoken is right. That I am the Supreme Lord, and you have been, I created this situation for you to become humble. And then Krishna says, understanding that this material world and everything connected with it have a beginning and an end, worship me by Vedic sacrifice, and with real intelligence, protect your subjects in accordance to the principle of religion. So now, so Krishna is again this point which we are discussing, that now nowadays kings have attained perfection, we know, but that doesn't mean that Krishna says now you go back to God and finish. No, now you execute. Now you execute devotional service, right? So perfection is again not a point; it's a life. It's a life which we live. So here Krishna is telling, now you go and you live a life of devotional service. As you live your lives, begetting generations of progeny, it's not telling that now you become a sadhu sannyasi also, in this world. You go back, you become a king, and you beget progeny, and encountering happiness and distress, birth and death, always keep your minds fixed on me. So amazing. So Krishna is telling, be Krishna conscious. The important thing is to always fix your mind on me. That's how you work. And then he says, then obviously the acharyas give in the commentary that this king says, "Oh, you are sending us back. We thought we are now surrendered, and now you do whatever you like to do with us. But so now you will become attached to our body." They are asking this question. And Acharyas explain. So then the answer Krishna gives next verse: "Be detached from the body and everything connected to it. Remaining self-satisfied, steadfastly, keep your vows while concentrating your minds fully on me." Right? Very deep words. So udasinas cha dehadav. So in that way, Krishna gives a very clear-cut instruction that okay, I'm going to give you all the opulence. Now your service is that although you will have opulence, but don't become attached. Don't do sense gratification. Right? So this is a very nice. Right? To not do sense gratification when nothing is there is a easy thing, right? But Krishna gives devotees a higher task, that okay, I'll give you big success, you'll have everything around you, but still you show your love towards me by not indulging in that, but using it for my pleasure. Remaining self-satisfied, steadfastly keeping your vows while considering your mind on me. In this way, you will ultimately attain me, the supreme absolute truth. This is the last instruction of Krishna. After that, Krishna did something, very interesting. Krishna is very kind and loving personality. That we can understand here. Having thus instructed the kings, Lord Krishna, the supreme master of the all worlds, engaged male and female servants in bathing and grooming them. Understanding very well, these are kings and they have been really tortured and they have a different kind of needs. Obviously, for us, we may not understand, "Bro, ye kya?" This is too much sensitive. But these kings, they were living like that. So Krishna arranged. Obviously, Acharya also says that there's so many kings. How Krishna got, so many men and male and female servants to, to serve them. How suddenly Krishna got. And I think Vishnu Chakdakur gives the answer because Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He can arrange as many servants as possible instantly. So he immediately arranged. Krishna arranged everyone, so many devotees of his to do the seva to them. And these kings were feeling so, like they were physically also taken care. So devotee care, right? So original devotee care is done by Krishna. That taking care of the psychophysical needs of everyone. So Krishna does that very nicely, based on time, place, circumstances. Then Shukdev Goswami continues. O descendant of Bharata, the Lord then had King Sahadev honor them with offerings of clothing, jewelry, garlands, and sandalwood paste, all suitable for royalty. The Sahadev is son of Jarasan. So, so he made Sahadev honor them also very nicely, by giving all the paraphernalia. So in that way, made a wonderful relationship between. As such, like one may be very fearful of Sahadev. No? Suppose you are a king, and ये तो जरासंध का बेटा है इससे इसको तो बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा होगा शायद. So Krishna is very sensitive. No, let Sahadev, you do some service to them. Sahadev is going on out of the way, giving wonderful, gifts and everything. And these kings are completely getting mesmerized more and more by Krishna. So Krishna is not stopping. Krishna has released them, but it's not the end. This is an infinite loop. That Krishna keeps reciprocating with his devotees, and devotees keep surrendering more and more. So Krishna is just giving them more and more and more. And then next 26th, after they had been properly bathed and adorned, they were given nice clothes, nice jewelry, everything. Krishna saw to it that they dined on excellent food. So Krishna was overseeing, they should get first class, okay, best prasad. He also presented them with various items befitting the pleasure of kings, such as betel nut. So whatever a king should need, So he honored so much. So because they were humiliated so badly, now they're getting, and so much affection of Krishna. It's not just like, okay, de diya, jao lo. Krishna is personally seeing, overseeing. We can see this kind of love of Krishna through the love of devotees. Sometimes, like I remember once, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj invited us, myself and Anand Bhagwan, both of us, to Mayapur. And we saw that we had a nice meeting. And after the meeting, we had a short meeting, simple, beautiful meeting. And after that, Maharaj, made us sit and made us and feed us prasad and saw to it, every single thing. And then he was telling that, oh, he's North Indian, so give him chapatis. And then there were 4 or 5 chapatis, and so much personally Maharaj is looking, okay, give him this, give him this. So like saw to it, Krishna. So when we see the devotees how they care, we can understand how much Krishna cares. So personally, individually, practically, So like that. And so Krishna's love. This is what we have to see in the whole Bhagavatam. Pages of Bhagavatam filled with how Krishna loves his devotees, how Krishna reciprocates with the surrender of his devotees, and this steals our heart. This can make us do something for Krishna. Honored by Lord Mukunda and freed from tribulation, the king shone splendidly, their earrings gleaming, just as the moon and other celestial bodies shine brilliantly in the sky at the end of the rainy season. Acharya explained, especially the earring is mentioned here, which is shining because their face became, like till now their face was so dull. Their face now became so, happy and cheerful that the earrings were specially, mentioned, and that earrings were specially shining. Every ornament was shining with special earring. And then the Lord arranged for the king to be seated on chariots drawn by fine horses and adorned with jewels and gold, and pleasing them with gracious words, he sent them off to their own kingdoms. Just imagine Krishna speaking to them wonderful words, and acharyas give a explanation that the words there, Krishna is telling them very nicely that please take care nicely, and please come for the Rasya Yagya in Maharaj Yudhishthir. So in that way, he is inviting them, you know, and very nicely he is taking care of them very beautifully. So, and in that way, sending them off, one by one in a nice chariot, so personal, so loving. Thus liberated from all difficulties by Krishna, the greatest of personalities, the king departed, and as they went, they thought only of him. This is what happens. When we meditate on Krishna's reciprocation, right? How actually Krishna is reciprocating, this is what happens. One becomes so Krishna conscious. They could not think anything. They thought only of him, the Lord of the universe, and of all his wonderful deeds. And then, what is the result of such Krishna consciousness? This is today's the verse on the board. The king told their ministers and other associates what the personality of Godhead had done, and then they diligently carried out the orders he had imparted to them. So, an important word in this verse is atandrita, which means, which word meaning it says, without becoming lax. So, there was no lethargy. Srila Jiva Goswami, in this commentary, he says that they loudly glorified his extraordinary activities, like freeing them, ending with sending them home to their ministers with joy, with astonishment and prema, out of devotion to the Lord. They were so mesmerized. The next step of meditating on the wonderful uh, reciprocation of the Lord is that one starts glorifying the Lord. One feels so grateful and one wants to glorify. So that is one thing. And second thing is that you know, with attention and without laziness, out of faith, they did as the Lord instructed. So as the Lord said, so then following the instructions becomes very natural because it is coming out of great gratitude. There is a serious inspiration to follow the instructions, right? So uh, in that way, they are fully absorbed in such dealings of Krishna consciousness. So similarly, in our lives, we have a great tendency of laziness, of postponing. Laziness comes in the form of postponing our surrender, postponing our doing things. But if we meditate like this on the wonderful reciprocation on the Lord, how Lord has helped us, if we really feel grateful for the devotees and for the Lord, and actually see constantly Krishna's love coming in our lives. If we properly try to meditate under guidance of devotees and try to see everything happening in our life, how Krishna reciprocated, then it can create such an enthusiasm, and that we would like to immediately act. Will not like to postpone our surrender to Krishna. Right? Yeah, there's so many things we wish to discuss. I'll complete the verses till 35. Having arranged for Bhimsen to kill Jarasandha, Lord Keshava accepted worship from the king Sahadev and then departed with the two sons of Pratha. So, so in that way, Krishna made Sahadev the king, and Sahadev worshipped Krishna, and then both of them also departed. When they arrived at Inprastha, the victorious heroes blew their conchs, bringing joy to their well-wishing friends and sorrow to their enemies. Acharya explains that when they came back, the Duryodhan became very sorrow. Right. Sorrow to their enemies like Duryodhan, like that Acharya is right in commentary. The residents of Indraprastha were very pleased to hear that sound. for they understood that now the king of Magadha had been put to rest. King Yudhishthir felt that his desires were now fulfilled. What was his desire? His desire to glorify the Lord through Rasva Yajna, will be now fulfilled. Bhima, Arjuna, and Janardana offered their respects to the king and informed him fully about what they had done. Upon hearing their account of the great favor Lord Keshava had mercifully shown him, the king Dharmaraj shed tears of ecstasy. He felt such love that he could not say anything. So here again, the kind of, so just imagine Krishna personally is working for Yudhishthira Maharaj and coming back and reporting to Yudhishthira Maharaj. This is a kind of loving reciprocation which is happening between Yudhishthira and Krishna. Thus ends the purport of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 73rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Krishna Blesses the Liberated Kings. Thank you very much. Just I'll take two more minutes. That also, as we are seeing here, that Krishna reciprocates so deeply with his devotees, and devotees like to surrender. Similarly, this month, of March, or this month of December, is a wonderful time where we reciprocate with Srila Prabhupada's mercy, as Prabhupada has spent so much of his hard efforts to write his books, and Prabhupada said that everything is there in my books. These purports are my devotional ecstasies, Prabhupada said. So Prabhupada has given himself fully, working so hard to write these books. So it is a very important duty of every one of us to understand these books, study them very thoroughly, and also help people receive this book, especially in this month of December. You know, we can make this priority. That we can put all our efforts, to take out time to be able to distribute Srila Prabhupada's message to others, to make this priority to distribute Prabhupada books. So at least December, 1 month, right? And when we do that, this softens our heart. This brings us out of selfishness, and we think of others simply for Krishna's pleasure. Sometimes, other times of the year, we are book distribution is such a wonderful selfless service, because in all service there is a chance of some results for oneself. In book distribution, hardly there is chance, because there's a good chance of becoming very much humble. But you know, so one can do it just selflessly, trying to give the message to others, and actually many times the books may go, and they may take time to become devotee. Yesterday I was hearing a lecture here. I was hearing that how coming in touch with the pure devotee plants the seed of bhakti lata in the heart, and when the seed is sown inside, like soil के अंदर जब seed लगाते हैं, that time you can't understand, you can't see the symptom of any plant. You can't see that कुछ plant तो दिखा नहीं रहा है. You feel that nothing is happening. What is the use, right? But no, you have to be patient. The seed has been sown means eventually the creeper is going to come, right? So similarly, sometimes when we distribute books, we may not understand what we are doing, right? Even people are seeing the books or touching the books, they're coming in touch with the pure devotee. Their first time thinking, first time this thought is coming, like I met with so many people. So one of the person I met, he told, I read Bhagavad Gita 3 times. I showed him Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita I've read 3 times. I said, okay, fine. If you have read, can you tell me who are you? He said, that is a very difficult question. Then I said, in the second chapter itself, Bhagavad Gita says that we are not the body, a spirit, soul. And he said, okay, And then I said, okay, tell me, you have read Bhagavad Gita, tell me who is God. Oh, that is, very, very difficult. I told, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that Matta Parataram Nanyat, Krishna is God. I said, yeah. Okay, started thinking, and then I asked like that few more discussion, and then after that he said it was so nice talking to you. I never knew these things. So the point is that people don't know. they may say I've read Bhagavad Gita. They have no idea. But they come in touch, and he was so happy when he left. He was so happy, so blissful. He said, "Very nice, and I really like talking to you. Something so much I learned in short time. Just 2-3 minutes I talked. So much I learned. So I'm just feeling. So these people, just we touch them, there, Krishna is awakened. Now seed has been sown. Now somehow, somewhere it may fructify. It may not be like he told he's coming from Chennai. Maybe he'll go back to Chennai. We don't know when next he'll meet. But somewhere things will happen. Right? How things will happen and how things will unfold, we don't know. So what service we are doing is actually a very powerful thing. So it may not be visible immediately, but it really transforms people. Right? And everyone has hope. We should not think whom to distribute. I was distributing book, one man with long hairs. Generally, long hairs people, you think they are materialistic people. They'll never take. But I just was showing, and this person with long hairs, he saw the book. I just showing, Bhagavad Gita. I didn't want to talk much with him. I thought, why to talk so much? Just show him, and if it works, fine. I just showed him Bhagavad Gita, and I saw his face. His face was looking very interested. And then I thought, okay, let me talk. And I gave him the book. He immediately opened. He said, okay, how much it is? I said, it was, I think he wanted Bengali. I said, 250. Immediately paid, took the book. That's it. So we don't know. So we should not think he will take, he will not take. Arey, ye to cigarette pee raha hai. One person, another person. We are distributing book. One person from behind the stall came, and he was having this tambaku or something in the mouth. He was not able to speak also. He said, so this devotee was saying, Bhagavad Gita, English Bhagavad Gita. It was English Bhagavad Gita. So, and he said, okay. He asked how much. He was not speaking. He just asked. So we said 300 rupees. Said okay, give. And then when his friend came, and then to his friend he said, you know, you also take. So then I started showing, take, you also take Bhagavad Gita. Your friend is taking, And then he said okay. And then he paid for both. 600 rupees he paid immediately, and he has not taken it down. While he is eating, he took 2 Bhagavad Gitas with calendar and everything. We told him, you join the WhatsApp group, everything. So it was interesting. Who will take, we don't know. He took 2 Bhagavad Gitas, English, And in that way, so many wonderful incidents. One just we were in the stall and this Harinam Sankirtan, Prabhupada's Kirtan going on. So powerful. Prabhupada's Kirtan is so wonderful. We were feeling it was in excess mall we were distributing. It was such a materialistic atmosphere. Even there, the Mataji is smoking cigarette, and very, very materialistic. But somehow the kirtans of Prabhupada was going on, and and uh, and it was like a bubble. That kirtan created a sort of a bubble, as if we are in a spiritual world within the material world. And in the bubble, like you have no effect of the material world. So it was like that. That kirtans was creating that effect. That that although people were like this, it was like a Bowery, in the Western world, not New York. But it was so wonderful. People were taking books continuously. Anyone came in touch with that bubble, that vibration of Prabhupada, that books were just going continuously. So in that way, we can see magic. We can see another one. Mataji just came to the stall and just said, "I am very depressed. I need Bhagavad Gita." Just she came and she started saying, "I am depressed. I need Bhagavad Gita." And his boyfriend was pulling him, didn't want. But she told, how much it is. Immediately he said 300 rupees. Immediately she paid. Immediately she took. And we didn't preach anything. Just she came. I am very depressed. I need Bhagavad Gita. She took. So in that way, and then I was thinking, just standing there and putting a stall itself is sufficient. So many people will be benefited. So it is such a wonderful activity to help. And Radhan Maharaj says that your success in book distribution is not how many you distribute, but how much they are eager to take Krishna consciousness and meet devotees again. So we can have a wonderful dealings with them, in a way that even if they don't purchase, they can at least feel a very positive feelings that yes, these devotees are really special. I never met such people in my life. That is great. And if they take books, that's even more great. Right? So experience of book distribution should be very sustainable. And when we do this book distribution, we come back, we go do this service as a, being grateful to Srila Prabhupada, being grateful to Nitai Gauranga, for allowing us to practice bhakti, allowing us to become in their instrument. When we do this in this mood and we come back, and then we see Nitai Gauranga smiling and reciprocating. This reciprocation can be observed very nicely on the field, in the book distribution field also. So, and we see the smile on face of Srila Prabhupada, smile on Nitai Gauranga, and we feel very enchanted. And that way we develop deeper and deeper relationship. So this is how actually what we are reading, we can live by it. What these kings are living, we can also live in a similar way, constantly seeing Krishna's loving reciprocation in lives. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Book Marathon ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.